Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the By the Book podcast with Mr. By the Book, Gaston LaRue. And today I am going over the month of March, basically, in professional wrestling and in my wrestling life and career. And we're also going to talk about WrestleMania. We're going to talk about the current state of WWE at the moment and how interesting all of that is as well. But it's been a while since I have done a podcast episode, and that is because I moved. My wife and I have been in the middle of a move lately. I know the last episode I said I was going to try getting back to getting guests and stuff on. Well, that didn't work out because my office ended up being full of boxes. So now this is the return to form. This is the episode where we get ready to go back to form. I'm going to update you guys on some stuff. I'm going to look back at the things that happened in my career over the last month, my wrestling career over the last month, things to look forward to, guests that you could possibly see appearing very, very soon, and stuff like that. So, first off, I want to recap the month of March for me. I continued to defend the AIWF World Television Championship, and I started off the month of March by going to North Carolina and West Virginia and successfully defending my AIWF World Television Championship twice, once against Jeff Paul, and then once against the monster known as Blade. Two very tough challenges for me. And that was a really long wrestling weekend. My wife and I went down. We stayed in a hotel. It was nice. I got paid well, made good money, got to enjoy Mount Airy, North Carolina, which is where the Andy Griffith show was filmed or is based off of. Um, Mount Airy, North Carolina, which is very exciting. And I really enjoyed being down there. The next weekend, I wrestled Icon Lee. Oh my gosh. And I defended. No, I didn't defend. I won the Dreamhouse Championship from him. As I said I was going to, I stomped his face in. And now he's insistent on a rematch, incessant on a rematch. I don't care. If he wants a rematch, he can have one. I'm just going to kick his freaking head in again. Uh, and I plan to, on the video version of this, have highlights from those events as well and have promos for upcoming matches as I usually do. So that was exciting. I won a match by disqualification in Spencer, West Virginia that same weekend against Gary Gandy in a hard fought professional wrestling match. And that weekend was kind of rough. I won two matches, which was great, but I came off of having a cold, so that was kind of rough for me. Um, and then uh, I I also had a match, a triple threat match, last week against Bryant Huff and Avery Hertz. Avery being the Cincy Wrestling Cruiserweight Champion, Bryant Huff being the XVW Next Gen Champion, and I was holding both my titles, the AIWF World Television Championship and the Dreamhouse Championship. I did not come out the victor, but I was not pinned in that match. So Avery got the bragging rights, winning that match. He stole my pinfall, so technically I won. But you know, um, yeah, it was enjoyable. It was a competitive match. Both guys have been in it a shorter amount of time than I have, but are both very um, challenging competitors. They're both very strong competition, and I enjoy every time I step into the ring with both of them. I also had a triple threat tag team match for Ascend Pro Wrestling the next weekend following the Icon Lee and Gary Gandy matches, where myself and Saturn Price of the Tragedy Boys teamed up to try becoming the number one contenders for the APW Tag Team Championships. But we were unsuccessful, unfortunately. But we turned over a new leaf as King Bomani and Butcher tried to attack Damian Daniels and Tim Lutz after the match. So we made the save. We turned over a new leaf, and I think we've become fan favorites of the crowd kind of naturally there. So that has been pretty enjoyable. And then the next weekend was a really big one. Um, so I wrestled a guy named The Exception, Dalton McKenzie, at Rumble on the River in Manchester, Ohio, and we had a really good match. He's a big dude. He's gonna do big things. He was accompanied to the ring by Carson Drake, who's extremely talented and will be a guest on this show here in the future. And man, he manhandled me, threw me around, but in the end, I overcame and I won with a countout victory. And then later in the night, I had the pleasure of being alongside Brutus the Barber Beefcake as we shaved the head of Nate the Snake, who was in Carson Drake's corner for his match later on in the night, and they tried to attack his opponent afterwards. I came out with a steel chair, and I made the save after running off Carson and Dalton, who had attacked me earlier in the night after my match. And I had the opportunity of interacting with Brutus the Barber Beefcake. What a sweet guy, great guy. If you look on my Instagram and my social medias, you'll find photos uh, of us shaving the head of Nate the Snake, which was wonderful. Brutus was a wonderful guy. That was a wonderful weekend. And then the next night, myself and the hot mother lover Jaden Jett wrestled in Cleves, Ohio for Battle on the Border. And man, we had a war, dude. And it was a great match. The crowd was super into it. They were super into both of us. We killed it, man. We went 17 minutes, had a great 17-minute match that I think was I think was awesome. Super high spots. I I started doing a diving headbutt. Whether that's smart or not, I don't know. But man, I really enjoyed this match. It's one of my favorite matches I've had this year, and it was one of my favorite matches of March, period, and maybe my favorite. It was just a big weekend for me. Then I had that triple threat that I mentioned earlier with Bryant Huff and Avery Hertz. And then this past weekend, sat at home. Um, Well, I didn't sit. My wife and I made our move. We made our move, and it just happened to be Mania weekend. So I, didn't take any bookings or anything because we were moving, and I wanted to be here to get the move done and over with, and I wanted to be able to support my wife through that as well. So we completed our move, and we got to watch WrestleMania, which I don't hardly get to just sit down and watch pay-per-views anymore because they're on Saturday nights now, and I'm always wrestling. So the fact that I got to do that was very enjoyable, and I loved night one of WrestleMania. Night two, not so much. Outside of that Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre match, which was fantastic. I loved that match. That match was awesome. So yeah, I won a championship this month. I had a great collection of matches this month, and I enjoyed WrestleMania night one more than night two. Um, I make a list of, and I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I make a list every year now of matches that I enjoyed from that specific year, and I try to get to the top 100. Like, hopefully, there's 100 matches that I like that year. There's been quite a few that I've really liked this year, but some standouts from night one for me were definitely uh, Dom Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio. That was great. Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins was so fun, so good. Rollins is incredible. He can have a great match with a broomstick. Um, then the two obvious standouts, though, were Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and the main event, which was Sammy and Kevin against the Usos. Such a good match. Great storytelling. I love tag team wrestling. I hold it close and near and dear to my heart. And then night two is probably the triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship, and as well as the main event, Cody and Roman, despite the ending. And that brings me to the current state of the WWE, which I don't want to comment too much on it because, there's a lot of negativity around it right now already as it is. And what I am going to say isn't going to be anything profound, but I think it's a shame at how downhill within 48, 72 hours, whatever it's been, how downhill it's gone. Obviously, Vince McMahon is back after Endeavor acquired WWE, and they're doing a WWE and UFC merger. Vince McMahon is back, and it shows. It was the worst Raw after WrestleMania ever, like literally the worst. Brock Lesnar is back in the fold. He's going after Cody. I I've expressed that I'm not a huge WWE fan of their product. I want to work there someday. I would love to work there someday. That's the obvious dream. Wrestling on WrestleMania someday is the obvious dream. But, and I'm not a huge fan of their stuff. But I think Triple H has been doing a fine job. I've liked every pay-per-view that I've been watching over the last year that he's been in charge. Cody losing and the way he lost at WrestleMania was the start for me of being like, oh, Vince is back. And then just the way Raw after WrestleMania was built and all the reports that are going around, it was obvious that he is back as well. And I'm a strong believer of someone who thinks that wrestling was better in the territory days. I think everyone was thriving, everyone was doing great, and Vince McMahon killed that single-handedly with a lot of crooked backroom dealings. And I think that that is wrong. Um, Vince McMahon can get credit for making pro wrestling a little more mainstream and stuff like that, but I think that would have happened anyways. And I don't think the territories would have died out the way they did. I'm super disappointed to see that Vince is back, to say the least. Um, I think he's outdated, and I don't really like outdated mindsets in wrestling. Uh, I'm trying to word this as carefully as possible, um, because I know that there's a lot of people who might think more along the lines of Vince in wrestling, but there are people who I respect where we know of all the shady things that Vince McMahon has done, and he keeps finding ways to get away with them. And I feel like there just needs to be a huge protest uh, to get Vince out of there with all the things that he's been accused of over the years and has shadily gotten to just kind of go away. Like all these most recent sexual assault allegations and everything. Um, I'll just leave it at that. I just think something needs to be done about Vince McMahon, and he needs to go away. I don't think that the wrestling world needs Vince McMahon anymore. Not nowadays, at all. So that's not to say we don't need WWE. I like the WWE. I just don't think we need Vince McMahon in charge of it anymore. So with that being said, I'm gonna go on to more positive things. Um, Another thing that I watched this weekend was Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. Fantastic show. Oh my gosh, I liked it almost. I liked it more than WrestleMania Night 2. That's for sure. Um, Supercard of Honor was incredible, incredible show. Claudio and Eddie Kingston had an amazing match. The ladder match was insane. My thoughts and prayers are with Dante Martin as he very clearly broke his leg. That was rough. Commander and Vikingo killed it. Gosh, I know I'm missing something. Ring of Honor was an incredible show. There were a lot of incredible shows WrestleMania weekend. And also I am just looking towards the future for WrestleMania 40 next year in Philly. It's the closest that a WrestleMania has been to me in a long time. It's the first WrestleMania since 34 that'll be like an actual reasonable driving distance. So I'm very excited, and I am looking to get booked next year. So hey, promoters listening to this, book me. So I'm very excited for WrestleMania next year. I think there is there's a lot of things pieces that I'm trying to put in play right now that could lead to me getting booked possibly numerous times next year on Mania weekend. I'm hoping, and I just want to be down there. I want to be back at WrestleMania. I've been to 2 WrestleManias. I've been to 34 and 37. So, I'm keeping the 3-year gap tradition up. So I'm ready to go to WrestleMania 40. Very excited. I hope that it's wonderful. I hope it's huge. I hope it's an amazing weekend for Midwest wrestlers, East Coast wrestlers, everyone alike. I just want to see tons of promotions running down there. It doesn't seem like there were as many in LA this year, maybe because of expenses or whatever. Pennsylvania, I want to see a lot of people running. I want to see a lot of people wrestling down there, a lot of people that I know and love wrestling down there. And I think it's reasonable. I think the Midwest has some of the best talent possible. And Pennsylvania is kind of in that middle ground. Like they're on the East Coast, but like I know they have like a lot of Midwest talent. So if we can just like get a nice cross, maybe like someone does an East Coast versus Midwest stuff in there. Yeah, man, I'm so excited. I'm pumped for WrestleMania next year. And in the next segment of the podcast, I'm going to play promos for some of my upcoming matches. The Saturday night, April 8th, I will be making my EPW debut, my Elite Pro Wrestling debut in Odin, Indiana against Mr. Broadway, Kindle Fire, someone who I've wrestled before and I had one of my best and favorite matches with last year, but I'm going to beat the crap out of him. And so I'm going to play my promos for any upcoming matches that I have, as well as on the video version, I will be playing highlights from some of my recent stuff in March so that everyone can kind of catch up. Everyone can kind of follow what I've been doing, what I've been up to. And then I will wrap up the show. This isn't one of those times where I sit down and I cut an arbitrary promo for a specific opponent or a specific match or a specific show. This is one of those times where I sit down and I just want to talk to you. And I'm going to sit down and talk to you because I have a couple of things I want to address. Just as me, as a person, as Mr. By the Book, Gaston LaRue, you see these championships on my shoulders. You see these championships hold a lot of power because these championships I can defend anywhere in the country and anywhere in the world. And you see, I am a fighting and defending champion. And you see, I sit here and I ponder and I look out this window. I look onto the horizons and the bigger things that are coming up in the next couple of months for me. And I want to defend these titles. I want to go places. I want to go everywhere. And you see, I am prepared to do that. I am equipped to do that. You see this championship on my shoulder. It is the Dream House Championship. I will defend this championship anywhere I go. And you see, this is the AIWF World Television Championship that I have been defending successfully upon 3 months, coming upon 4. And you see, the similarities in these titles is that they are traveling championships, and I am prepared to defend them anytime, any place against anyone, and I will defend them at the same time. Not only do these championships make me a traveling champion, but they make me the king of multimedia, the television champion. This championship, which represents ESPN 1530, what represents the Dream House. And you see, when I step into the ring, I am holding up multimedia. I am holding up the fact that I am the king and that I am the best that professional wrestling has to offer. I am the defender of pro wrestling. I am Mr. By the Book. And when I defend these championships, you better be prepared to lose 100% by the book. So if you're prepared to step up to me, you better step up and step up ready to fight. April 8th. Elite Pro Wrestling, I make my debut, and while I am making my debut, I am not unfamiliar with my opponent. Because Mr. Broadway, this is not your first time on Broadway, starring as the antagonist to the Gaston LaRue story, now is it? You see, Kindle Fire, the last time we wrestled was at Hybrid Championship Wrestling last summer, who are also a part of the Midwest Collective, on May 27th. And I defeated you last summer, Mr. Broadway, and it is fitting that we talk about the Midwest Collective, because you have a big title opportunity coming up at the Midwest Collective. Heck, you're signing a contract for it on April 8th, the same night that you are wrestling me. So that makes me worry a little bit, Mr. Fire. Are you overlooking me? And if you are, it's going to be the gravest mistake of your life, because if you overlook me, I'm going to be the one stepping into that EPW Heavyweight Championship match at the Midwest Collective, because I'm going to break those jazz hands to where they can't even sign that contract, to where they can't even punch, to where they can't even touch anybody, and they can't even shake around anymore. You see, Mr. Fire, there is a reason why I have 2 championships behind me that are traveling championships that I defend all across the country. And if you think for a second that you're going to overlook me, you better think again, because when I defeat you in my debut at Elite Pro Wrestling in Odin, Indiana on April 8th, you better think again. Because when I defeat you, it's going to be 100% by the Supreme Wrestling fans. It is Mr. By the Book, Gaston LaRue, and I know it has been quite some time since I have been there. I am missing you all. You are my home away from home. But you see, I got some business to attend to, and I want to update you on what I've been up to while I've been gone, and where you can see me coming soon. And you know, as you see, I have 2 titles on my shoulder. This is the Dream House Championship, and I won this in the time that I have been gone, but this isn't about this. This is about this. This is about the AIWF World Television Championship. You all saw me win at our home of 2520 Lanier Drive in Madison, Indiana on December 30th, 2022 from Leon Elliott. I won this championship, and you all see me defending across the country. But you see, there's one show coming up that I'm particularly interested in. That is May 12th. Supreme Wrestling Next Level from Shaw Memorial High School. And last year at Next Level, it was a little earlier in the year, but I won the Supreme Heavyweight Championship from Aaron Williams, a Next Level talent. And as you know, my goal is just to be the best Next Level talent that I can be. That's why I travel all over the country. That's why I travel all over the place. That's why I win other championships. That is why I've not been there. But I want to challenge a Next Level talent. A man that I've faced since November of 2020, and while I won, it was a bit of a tarnished win. At that time, I was a part of Custom Made. I was a bit of a scoundrel, as I need to remind you, but I have changed. I'm a changed man since then, and I want to prove myself against the best in the entire world, and that is why I am challenging to a match for the AIWF World Television Championship on May 12th. Supreme Wrestling Next Level, I am challenging a Next Level talent in Jason Kincaid. Jason, I want this match, but I must warn you that if you accept my challenge, that you will lose. And when you lose, it'll be 100% by the book.
IWF World Television Champion from Shreveport, Louisiana, he is Mr. By the Book, Gaston LaRue. WWF Television Champion, ladies and gentlemen, our referee, has reserved reverse the decision. Jeff Paul is not the winner, and he is WWF Television Champion.
175 pounds from Shreveport, Louisiana, Mr. By the Book, Gaston LaRue. Your television champion, Gaston LaRue.
I'm the man, baby, and that's by the book.
WF World Television Champion. And Gaston, all business tonight. A lot of talk, but I would rather follow the leader of the House of LaRue. Is we are immediately getting into it. A shot from Icon, and Gaston was normally a jovial and have a good time. All business, all aggression. He's out here. He's putting the Icon Lee. Not even letting Icon Lee. You don't do that. Those are fighting words, if you will. Icon trying to fight back, but Gaston, now he's on the Ric Flair chapter and his chops. Man, that would have been a 3 count. It's over, it's done, but not Icon Lee. This man has been the Dream House champion from there of Icon Lee. Oh, and Stanley gets reversed on. Gaston up and over. But Icon shoves him right in the back, ducks. Both men out. They go for the crossbody. Right there, he's hooking him up. Oh, big throw from Absolutely. I mean, not only is this a championship match here for the Dream. One more thudding chop. Blocks it. No. Big suplex on the outside for Gaston LaRue. A block out the painting. He has a long CVS long receipt for Gaston. Suplex of his own. Holds and rolls through. That's number 2. We got number 3. Oh, stalling. No. Gaston fights out of it. Stalling vertical suplex of his own. Looks to try to drape. Springboard. Icon following back, but Icon not necessarily getting the best of these. Whoa! Jeez, drums earlier, and now Gaston just directly stomping through Icon Lee. God, it's their jawbuster. Face plant goes Gaston. 1, 2. LaRue champion. Oh, Icon driving down, but no, Icon slips out. Electric chair position. Gaston in a bad. Oh no! Roll over. Roll through. Gaston holds it. Oh my God! Oh my God! Looking for that double leg crab. Roll it through. Sink it in. Gaston! The knee into the back. Let me tell
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match, and new.
Slips the leg and drives that knee right into the back, and Icon has to tap. You say Walls and LaRue is more like a tamer. You don't go after.
Thank you guys for watching and listening to all of that. I hope you enjoyed the promos. If you're watching the video version, I hope you enjoyed the highlights from my previous matches. And I hope that you keep up with me on all the social medias. Gaston LaRue on Twitter, at Pro Wrestling Gaston on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Gaston LaRue as well. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I hope you can continue doing things 100% by the book.